Welcome back to the shop. Today we're making our rounds after Hurricane Dorian, just checking on properties, and you know, this shop is still got some problems. So while we're over here, I figured I didn't want to waste a trip. My older brother Nick and I are gonna go through and just look at some of the stuff on the workbench. We pulled a vise off of there, and we found a couple of anvils. I know these have been real popular on YouTube lately. This is the belly button hole according to 357. But these old Peter Wright. Wait, yeah, Peter Wright. I know this is very desirable. I mean, I'm not sure what condition it's in compared to. Anyway, I'll get better footage of this later on, but I just wanted to show you where it came from. This was the workbench that we talked about before. That we got some railroad ties there, I-beams or whatever. But this was the backdrop for my introduction early on in the channel. And we're just sort of leafing through here, pulling off some of the choice things. This is my grandfather's workbench, day in and day out. So a lot of history here. And we're gonna do what we can to get it out of the rain for now, and bring it back and clean it up. So anyway, let me get out of the way here, and I'll bring it back when we get to the other shop. All right, so we're back at the other shop, my father's shop, and I've been leafing through. Sorry, I'm zoomed in too much. I've been leafing through this tool chest and pulling out the things that I really want. I mean, I've still got to pull out some of these bigger wrenches and clean those up, but those weren't very interesting in terms of cleaning things up. But the other day, we had a Hurricane Dorian down here, so I had some time to, you know, just tinker around in the shop, and some much needed time just goofing around out here. And these are the tools that I pulled out of there and cleaned up. This is just wire wheel and fiber wheel, some machinist vise, and some assorted tools. I mean, you can see nothing super fancy, but some interesting stuff. I'm not exactly sure how the screwdriver, it doesn't have a name on it or anything. But that came out of that tool chest, and now here's the second half of that tool chest. Let me get these bungee cords disconnected and I'll show you what we got here. Alright, so we've got what looks to be almost a full set of crow's foot sockets, some independent universal sockets there. Those are nice because they're short. This is a universal oil filter wrench. Looks like some assorted fittings, maybe for gas. A plumb ratchet. I'm not sure if these are 1/4 inch or 9/32. I have run into quite a few 9/32 wrenches here. Some, protractor level. What we got here? Bunch of taps and dies, punches, stuff that I don't know what it is. That's really interesting. Who knows what that does? Snaps, crescent wrenches, lots of random stuff. My grandfather had a bunch of dental tools at one point, and it would have been a great Dremel tool. The whole machine was all belt driven. A beautiful machine, but it got stolen. A lot of the scrappers just came through and ripped off everything in the shop years ago. So a lot of odds and ends, brass shims, pullers, flaring tools, dwell gauge, some interesting stuff. But now we've got, this is probably going to be one of the most favorite things that everybody has, or a lot of the channels have gotten real popular with these. This is a Peter Wright Anvil. So I don't know how much it weighs. I would say, you know, upwards of 60 pounds. So it's pretty decent size, and that's neat. But then I think the most useful thing that we've got out of there so far is this Charles Parker vise. This is a neat vise. I think it'll go well on Clay's workbench here, but he'll have to do some notching to get it to fit in, to get it to fit with this relief that's there. What else do we get? It says GMC first aid kit. This box is really nice. This is really well built. It's all rolled in and around. It's very sturdy. It's way more than just a stamped steel thing. Here's one of the Starrett boxes for their taps or drills or whatever. This tool here, you can see. Again, I apologize. I'm trying to operate the camera, but the action on this is remarkable, and I don't know what this would be for. Separating something. It's like a jaws of life kind of thing. Really, really interesting. Here's a small vise or vise, anvil. It doesn't have a maker's mark on it that I can see. Then there's this other plate below it, which looks like a really handy thing for the workbench. Because this bench is wood, if we had something that you wanted to work on that was hard, you know, this would give you a good surface to beat on. Pardon me. This is a neat little steel oil can or gas can. These things are gas cans or fuel tanks are very, very expensive. They're hard to come by, and this steel one, we'll find some use for that for sure. A little tiny hammer. Some almost machinist style C-clamp, really fine thread and with the knurled knob on it. That's neat. I don't have anything like that. Some typical Japan stuff. And again, the distinction between Japan and Chinese is greater now than it used to be. I think long ago, Japan stuff was, you know, not nearly what it is today. I think that's largely true. Set of wire terminal crimpers. This is like a hold-fast clamp. I think this might be nice for maybe holding down wire wheels or something like that. But anyway, here's an Eagle oil can, but it's plastic. But this has got to be very, I mean, relatively old. This has got to be in the 80s or 90s. So one of the first, and I've got a modern-day Eagle or goldenrod plastic one, and I've been pretty happy with it. Here's a rainbow that looks to be in pretty good shape besides that big dent. What a cool looking can. I'm glad that the markings are still all cleaned up on here. This I think I'll probably just take over with some hand soap and a rag and wipe the dirt off of it. And then this plate, I don't know what the plate would have been for with all these holes drilled in it. But I think it might be good to, if you were trying to diffuse heat, or maybe a good work surface. Who knows? But I picked it up, and you know, the typical wire strippers. Those are, you know, love them or hate them kind of thing. This is an interesting tool. This little hand sigh, and the markings on here, if anybody recognizes that. Again, Japan, but it seems to be well made. Anyway, it was in the shop full of termites, and the termites didn't like it, so that's sort of interesting. And then a small camping axe, a hatchet, and then a regular old pry bar. So that's just the stuff that we grabbed today over at the shop. I think it's pretty interesting. This Charles Parker vise is going to be a great restoration. I look forward to doing that, and I think it'll work out nicely on the workbench. I don't know exactly how it'll work out yet, but I hope to get to this sooner rather than later. And for the people that know about these anvils, give me an idea what you think this is worth. I don't know what to do with these things, because it's not something that I would necessarily use all the time, and it doesn't have any, you know, I don't know. I'd just as soon keep it, but if I could make some money off of it, I'd do that too. So that's a Peter Wright. I can't tell what else it says on there, not at this point. But, and are these things, should they be restored? Should it be wire wheeled and painted, or should it just be left as it were? I really don't know. I'm not sure that it would be a fun restoration. Even if I did take a flappy paddle to it and strip it down, it would be a tremendous amount of work. The galling here, the spalling, or whatever this is, I'm not sure if that's because it's been worked so much. It doesn't seem to have a big belly there. That, or they tried to protect this and then weld that on there. I don't know. That's all conjecture. These old railroad tracks, I think those are handy to have around. So that's it. I apologize for not getting any restoration today, but today was sort of a free day because we had it off of because of the hurricane, so I got a half day off of work, which was nice, but I don't have enough time to get into this right now, but hopefully this weekend I will. So please leave your comments and let me know what you think about that, or if there's anything else that you see that's that you know about. In particular, this one. This one is a St. Pierre giant. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. What a neat tool. So anyway, I've got some neat content for the channel. I just want to say thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and have a good day.